scores will not help your children become future ready. In this video, I'm going to share 5 top reasons why academic performance test scores will not help your kid become future ready. Reason number 1. GPA, grade point average, is actually inversely related to innovation orientation. So in other words, this is based on a big study of thousands of students from the US and different countries. So in other words, the higher the GPA, the less likely that your kid is to innovate. If you want your children to become innovative leaders, problem solvers, GPA, grade point average, is the wrong benchmark. Okay, reason number 1. Reason number 2. Another big study has suggested that children who are actually attending high achieving schools, they are more likely to have addiction issues compared to children who are attending average schools. Mental health issues, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, so they are more likely to have those addiction issues. In fact, earlier this year, a big study came out that surveyed almost 22,000 US high school students. The survey asked the students to describe how they are feeling about their schools, and almost 70% of students described and shared that they felt negative about the schools that they are attending. And 3 top emotions emerge. Number 1 is stress. Number 2 is bored. Number 3 is tired. Stress, and I actually have the numbers here. Let me share this with you. So in terms of stress, that is almost 80%. In terms of bored, that is almost 70%. In terms of tired, that is almost 60%. Okay, keep that in mind. And but at the same time, so much research has shown that we need our children to be future leaders. Those people need to have emotional resilience, right? Who can rise above and who can bounce back after they make a mistake, after they have a failure, right? So that's the second one. And the third reason that scores will not help your children become future ready is creativity. Creativity actually decreases as children become more educated. And you should definitely, if you haven't done so already, check out Sir Ken Robbins, his TED Talk, which is Do Schools Kill Creativity? And that is the #1 viewed TED Talk among all the other TED Talks. And definitely check that out. So schools do kill creativity, and our children become less creative as they become more educated, more conditioned by the box way of thinking. Okay, and here's another big study conducted by NASA, and they want to again study creativity. So they asked the young children, 4 years old, 5 years old, how many ways can they think of using a paper clip? The young kids like this, and that, so hundreds of. They scored 98% in terms of creativity and divergent thinking. Another 5 years later, the researchers studied the same group of children, and their creativity dropped from 98% to 50%, 50. Another 5 years later, the number continued to drop. By the time that the children become emerging professionals, the number dropped to 2%. So from 98%, the super genius level in terms of creativity, to 2%, what happened? what happened is that they become more educated. They become more conditioned by the box way of thinking, following instructions, following orders. They become more obedient, right? Again, ask yourself, do you want your children to become an obedient person or a leader in the future? Okay, so that is number 3. And experience is more important than degree. Why? For example, Google and shared in an interview a few years ago, and they said that they stopped using test scores during the hiring process. And they even said exam scores are useless in terms of hiring the right candidate to work at Google. Useless, right? And in fact, just recently, and Google shared they are launching their own career certifications to replace the traditional 4-year college for 3 specific positions: data analyst, project management, and user experience design. So in other words, if your children want to work for Google in those 3 specific areas, the only thing you need to do, or your kid needs to do, is to earn the certifications that will take about half a year to finish. And then those certifications will be equivalent to a traditional 4-year college. And Google is not the only company who's doing this. In fact, 20 plus companies no longer require a traditional college degree to work for those companies, including Google, IBM, Apple, Starbucks, Hilton, and a number of different organizations. And the last reason is a big Adobe study that just came out recently. It is called the deciding factor. So you should definitely check it out in that study. And it is agreed that there is less and less emphasis on traditional test scores. GPA, SAT, the traditional test scores, there is a lot more emphasis on creative problem solving, innovation, soft skills, interpersonal skills, communication, collaboration, all those important skills. And I'm going to share my screen with you so that you get the numbers right. So give me 1 second. So here in the past few years, skills like creativity and communication have become more important factors for college admission, okay? So if you want your children to go to college, or like those criteria are ways for your children to become successful in life, at least based on the traditional measurement, as you can see, scores is way down here, right? The first one is actually interview skills. And as far as I know, many of the students that I work with do not have good interview skills. They are so shy, they are not articulative, they don't know how to express themselves, they don't know how to be assertive, they just cannot communicate. And skills like communication, as I mentioned, and creativity, creative problem solving, all those are important skills. And showing your personality, stop blending in, right? Become who you are. But guess what? A kid, after spending so many years in school, they don't even know who they are. They know what the teachers want, but they don't know what they want because their heart is asleep. Nobody has ever asked them, who are you? What do you want to do? Everything is given to our students, right? That's something that we work with our students at the Classroom Without Walls. You can see the list here. Exam scores is not the number 1 criteria for your children to become, at least in this case, college ready, okay? So here are the 5 reasons that scores are not going to future-proof your kid. I'm so passionate about this topic, and that's why I left my college professor, associate professor position to start my own school, Classroom Without Walls. My name is Dr. AI, and at my school, we future-proof the next generation by teaching you what schools are not. Besides me, we have a group of leading digital mentors and coaches to work with our students to teach you all those important skills. Okay, scores do not matter. what does matter. So we teach you what matters in order to be college ready, job ready, and future ready. So if you are interested in checking out or becoming a student at Classroom Without Walls, go to my website at classroomwithoutwalls.ai or send me an email, ai@classroomwithoutwalls.ai. Me or someone in my team will be in touch with you shortly. And remember today's quick video, your children's scores are not going to future-proof them for a constantly changing future. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please check us out and connect with me on different social media channels using at AIADDYSONZHANG. As always, at Classroom Without Walls, we believe the best education happens outside the classroom. Cheers!